I said, you got headphones way up there.
It's exciting. I'm liking it. Hello, hello, hello.
We're on, man. Do it to it.
We're live. Nope, we're just going up now, guys. Ooh, look at that. We have like a 1 second delay. That's phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's up.
It's been up.
Hi guys, already on us. We're getting a few more joining, it looks like. I'll be monitoring Facebook chat, and I think I'm introing today. Looks good. So I just want to tell you guys to check out our website at theantisocialexperience.com.
Don't add a the. It's just
Just antisocialexperience.com.
Yeah.
Or you can check us out on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, which is Antisocial Experience Podcast. On either of those.
Mm-hmm. And then you're introing because you got the first topic here. It's a little weekly update on a previous topic.
Yeah, last week we talked about Elon Musk potentially becoming the world's next supervillain. First. Well,
Has there been an update?
I think you can kind of count Hitler as a supervillain.
Maybe Stalin, yeah.
Maybe,
yeah.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
So next,
maybe a few other ones.
We'll go
Okay,
next.
yeah, next. Yeah.
Because he got fired from Tesla, then he chose to leave, and he's got all this money. He's basically either gonna be Batman or the equivalent of Lex Luthor.
Okay, so what's the update?
So he, there's been a lot of memes circulating recently about it.
Mm-hmm.
However, he has been starting to look very menacing lately. He's been wearing a lot more trench coats. He's been facing away. There's been a lot of like freaky pictures out there on the internet. We can throw some up in the comments here in a little bit, but there's some where he's like buying stuff just to shut it down. It's pretty neat. But yeah, I think we can take it from here. I just wanted to say that I think.
Okay, so nothing concrete, just like he's starting to fit the role a little more.
He's starting to fill the supervillain role.
Changing his style of dress.
Mm-hmm.
That could be concerning,
I
right?
think he's gonna shave his head soon. If he does that, I'm out. Like,
oh, that's
this
a Lex
world is
Luthor.
down.
That's a power Lex Luthor move, man.
Dude, if there's anybody that could build like any individual that could build a base in Antarctica or wherever.
Just like a sole individual. Maybe like Richard Branson could too. Maybe there's a few others.
I think Bin Laden could also have been considered a supervillain.
Yeah.
He had money
put it in
though.
the chat.
Well, they all got money,
Yeah,
but
right, though. Yeah.
cheap ass batteries.
I guess you can't become a supervillain if you don't have money. They don't really have powers here.
Yeah. Well, you need money to get like tech that can like simulate powers.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's some supervillains, but I do like the ones that don't have a power. They're just bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Joker.
Yeah.
He's just evil. He's a cool evil
crazy,
guy.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that actually is a perfect segue into my next topic, which is radioactive Boy Scout.
Is this that kid who like built like?
Yep.
The nuclear reactor.
So I got
Yeah.
more on a story, and I've been following it a bit more.
Yeah. Well, it had, like
He is dead now.
yeah, it happened in like the '90s, didn't it?
No, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not even
Yeah,
the
not-
90s, like 2007, 8.
I think there might have been one before him then.
Two Boy Scouts making nuclear reactors. So basically, there was this kid, to catch you guys up on the story. He just recently died. That's why I'm bringing it back up. But what he did was he had a love of chemistry, and his father gave him or his uncle gave him a chemistry book, and he started mixing things together. He would make like magnesium for fireworks and all these really cool chemical reactions. But he started to get way too into it, and he was doing very risky stuff. Like he could build bombs and stuff, and he would like set things on fire using chemical reactions. And rather than put a stop to it whenever he's like lit his room on fire and stuff, his parents were like, just go out to the shed, do your thing out there, which prompted a worse response for him to do his stuff.
Yeah, it gave him more freedom to do it.
Yeah.
So he began experimenting further and further, and he got like 500 fire detectors from a fire detector company for a school project. They just gave it to him for like $20.
That's a good deal.
Really, really cheap because it was for a school project. And then he found like 3 other major places that sell radioactive components, like in fire detectors. There's a little strip at the top that
it's not much in these products. Yeah.
hairlines.
Yeah.
Hairlines.
So how many? He had to gather like
Hundreds of everything. Yeah.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
So it gets better though. So then he didn't really know how to put it together and how it worked. So he called claiming he was a grad student at the University of whatever and he called several nuclear testing sites where they have reactors. And basically, rather than anyone verifying his story of who he was,
Just told him.
they basically told him word for word, because he said it was for a paper, of how to make a nuclear reactor. And he went about ordering the parts, the fire detectors, and other watch components that used to glow in the dark, and made a nuclear reactor, and was generating a substantial amount of energy. But his process was very sloppy, and he didn't really contain it very well. The audio is very crackly.
Right
I'm
now?
very crackly. Let me back off.
Just Aaron?
Yeah, just me apparently.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Put your mic down more. You're going right into
Yeah,
it.
let me go.
You're
How about
being
there, guys?
super plosive.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
Yeah.
How about you guys tell me how it sounds whenever it's down here? But yeah, so he had a very sloppy process. He had radiation poisoning, and at some point, about 6 months after creating the reactor, he determined that it was becoming too dangerous to continue. So he called his local authorities and said, "Hey, I've got this thing here, and you guys need to come get it." And they came over, and they're like, "It's not a big deal. Just go throw it out." So he loads it in the back of his car, and then agents pull up on him, thinking he's got like a dead bodies and bombs in the back of his cars, and they like bring in the bomb squad, and they like isolate his car, and they take away the little bit of his radioactive material, and they take it away from him.
Yeah.
So after that's been completed, rather than call for everyone to deal with the radioactive decay that's been happening in the shed for months upon months, it's been almost a year at this point, it just kind of goes and festers away. The area is able, for like 17 miles away, has more radiation in it than Chernobyl, which was craziness. And people live there in that area.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, where's that at?
nowhere close to here, right?
Yeah, right?
No,
Okay.
not right now. I think it's North. It might be. I don't think it's North Carolina. It's somewhere around North Carolina.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, your mic is like sounds a little loud.
Loud?
Yeah.
you're
Maybe turn me down a little bit.
To what?
I
No,
don't know.
Nick's sounds a little loud.
I'm the voice of God.
Yeah.
God. All right, but yeah, it was really neat, and I've been following the story more because he just recently died. It's been 10 years. I mean, that's a good run to go, especially with radiation poisoning.
That's severe, probably being like hands-on with it and like.
He was only 33, 34 whenever he died.
Yeah.
So it's been I'm sure it's been
What
a
was
trip
the
for him.
what was the size of this reactor he built? Just in a shed, like a little,
Well, it's not a.
Probably like, couldn't be too big.
just like a science project
yeah.
that went
It doesn't.
extremely wrong.
The size is not as big of a deal
Is what he
as
was
the
playing
amount of
with.
reaction that
Yeah.
was happening. So he had several small reactors rather than having one massive one.
But they were like going through a lot of material.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whenever the way that he had it set up is the reactors automatically kicked off. So rather than having one large reactor that had very little surface area to give off the radiation, he had multiple smaller reactors that would have significantly more surface area to give off more radiation. So it wasn't an issue that they weren't very powerful at all. They would produce maybe energy to supply a few homes, but maybe a town even. But individually, it was catastrophic.
Yeah, still, that's not something you play with in your backyard, like ever.
I mean, it'd be fun. Good way to go out.
If you had like a robot you could control and like, it was like a bunker underground.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't they use robots with some of that material to begin with
Yeah.
Probably.
to handle it?
Yeah.
It's too dangerous.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if I could do it with my hands, why not?
That's how they used to do it.
Yeah, when they were figuring it out, yeah.
Back in the day,
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Petridge Farm remembers.
Yeah, I remembered seeing an article about that. I was gonna click on it to read it, and there's been some YouTube videos up, but I'm like, I was thinking it was some bullshit thing.
No, it's a real thing. I learned about it in Boy Scouts whenever I was actually part of it, but kind of faded. You don't really think about it much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Tim,
No reactors here, people. We're not going that crazy yet.
not yet.
We'll give it time.
2019.
Yeah,
Well, we'll need
maybe.
one to get to the moon. We'll need to store that energy.
Yeah, we need. Well, we're gonna build a ship that we fire.
kids.
We fire like lasers at, right, to throw it. Like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna need a lot of power though. Yeah. So probably next year.
Why don't we
we'll get
just
on it.
build a big super soaker for our rocket? our moon ride rocket.
That's a good idea.
well,
Well,
that's
here's
a-
what we'll do. We'll take the radioactive Boy Scout and we'll make nuclear bombs underneath our rocket and we'll fly that to the moon.
That's actually like a
Form of propulsion.
Russian, yeah.
Not for me, it's not.
It's well, for space, for like space travel.
Oh yeah,
space
yeah,
travel,
sure. But
Well,
not for me.
If you think about it, you're just riding a gigantic explosion when you're in a rocket.
Yeah.
All you're
Yeah.
doing is creating micro explosions using smaller nuclear warheads to propel a
Spacecraft. through
spacecraft
space.
into space.
Yeah.
Like realistically, okay, like keeping it here in reality. You think you could do that? Climb on board a big thing that's about to like you said, an explosion under you.
Well, that's yeah, you can.
No, I'm saying, could you do it?
Oh, could I?
Yeah, like
figure
the
it out?
guts. Would you climb on a rocket?
Oh, like maybe like maybe like after they've done it like a few hundred times, maybe.
Right. Imagine them guys
I would do
back
it.
when they were doing all that testing, and you see the old video of shit just like starting to lift off and just crashing down, blowing up. Yeah.
I
No.
think we're gonna have a period of 10 years where we're still using conventional rockets like we are now, but there's gonna be a major breakthrough whenever it becomes commercially available, so that just about everyone will be able to go on and do their own thing while they're in space. We should find a new form of propulsion within 10 years after it becomes commercially available.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. Like, as far as commercial, like us, we could go for a ride. Anybody could sign up that has the money.
Yeah, it would be very expensive at first, but in
Yeah.
the course of 20 to 30
Yeah,
years, it would be the same price as
Then
air
it'd be-
travel.
Yeah, it would eventually.
Air travel?
Yeah,
Nah,
there
come
would
on. I
be-
want cab prices like an Uber price.
That's probably
Well,
like
that's
hundreds
whenever-
of years off.
Yeah,
you know?
and air travel's not even at that yet.
Sign me up, freeze me. Yeah, just freeze me for a while, guys.
Okay. Hey, winter's coming up, man.
Yeah, and if you think about it, that's
We're not
what-
even doing cryo. We're just gonna toss them outside,
Yeah.
out back.
What was that movie? Man, about like the caveman that gets unthawed, Brendan Fraser.
Oh yeah.
What,
Encino Man.
Encino Man.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore. Yeah. and
Have you ever seen that?
No.
It's a pretty funny
That's
movie.
before his time, man.
Do you like Pauly Shore movies?
Yes, I do. I love
Okay,
him.
I like some of them. But
Yeah,
like
after a
Encino
while-
Man and Biodome.
Biodome was alright.
Yeah.
Who was in it? Alec Baldwin. Dude,
Was
one
it
of the Baldwin
Baldwins?
brothers. was in that.
Not Alec.
Billy?
Billy? Yeah, I think it's Billy Baldwin.
Who knows?
Yeah.
We don't
Maybe.
need facts.
Yeah, yeah.
But we
It's the
don't
one that I think was like a partier and then turned Christian. I think it was that Baldwin.
Yeah, no clue.
It's either Steven or Billy. It's one of the Baldwins, but yeah.
Yeah, no, good movie.
Yeah.
Son-in-law was okay. In the army now was kind
I
of.
didn't see that one.
You didn't
so-
see that?
Mm-mm.
Jury duty was.
Didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The shit was real cool at first,
Yeah,
but then
a little too much. He should have did something a little different, maybe. you know?
right, you
Yeah.
can't keep the same gag going and
Yeah.
going and going and going. Like it don't work.
Maybe did like a more like. Yeah, there were some dark, like at that time, dark comedies were starting to come around.
Right.
So maybe like change it
If
up.
anything, he was actually ahead of his time.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So,
Yeah.
anybody that
It was a caveman being unfrozen.
Well,
so.
no, that wasn't Pauly Shore.
yeah, that was Brendan Fraser was the caveman.
Yeah.
But who else was in that? I can't
Sean
remember.
Astin.
Yeah,
Or
Sean
Sam.
Astin?
Astin, yeah, from Sam from Lord of the Rings.
It's an unfortunate last name.
Yeah. All right.
Do you ever
But
graze
no.
past those, like really bad last names, and you're just like, oh, you had to have gotten picked on.
Yeah, I'm not trying to insult anybody deliberately, but when you name your kid like Gunther or there's some names out there,
Gunther.
you gotta wonder what the fuck is going through these parents' heads. Like,
what do you think about like the really out there ones, like Rainbow Sherbert?
oh, the hippies.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, whatever. That's cool.
Or the kids that just get their names as symbols on the keyboard,
Mm.
like
Yeah, it-
star, asterisk,
Yeah.
semicolon.
It's not like, and the thing is, the parents don't have to deal with it. They do in a sense,
But the kid,
that
really
the kid,
has to-
yeah,
yeah.
that kid is gonna grow up hating
Mhm.
people. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
I could be wrong on
Who
that.
knows?
What I want to say.
Uh,
Oh, and on your Pauly Shore thing. Anybody that wants to know more about Pauly Shore, or if you're of a younger audience like Aaron here that doesn't know much about him and why he failed, it's well discussed in one of Joe Rogan's episodes.
Oh yeah, where he like comes on.
Yeah, Pauly Shore was actually a guest on the JRE podcast,
Yeah.
so go check that out. A good watch.
Mhm.
All 1,200 of them are great. So
Yeah. So I guess so you were kicking it to me.
I'm kicking it to Tim.
So you and I got to actually game today a little bit. Did
Yeah,
some
it was fun.
Overwatch. It was fun.
what is Overwatch? Which
So-
one is that?
It's a first-person game, but it's kind of like a MOBA a little bit because you have like there's a set list of like champs you play,
Okay.
and you can only play one of each. Like there can't be multiple like duplicates of the same champ, so it keeps a balance. And there's different roles. There's like offense, defense, support, tank, and you shoot it out, man, and use your ability to jump around. We just played the Halloween event, which was just like a wave defense game. It's
See,
fun.
every time I hear that,
Yeah.
I always think,
It's not like it isn't like a MOBA, but you have like Qs and like special abilities.
well, I always think like,
Halloween one was pretty
it's
much
fun.
though. We had lanes, we
Lanes,
had
yeah. It was like an AI like kind of wave MOBA.
I think
Yeah.
like Arma and shit, but
But
it's not
first
one of
person-
those games.
No, but first person. It's more like it's what's that one?
CS:GO is it anything like that?
no.
Different League. It's kind of like
it's
League.
more like
It's like
League.
League.
It's more like MOBAs, but first person in a shooter. You know,
Yeah, I'm looking it up here just
If
to
you were to
get
take
a
a
reference.
League and Call of Duty and merge them together,
yeah.
that would be what you get.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the nice segue into my actual topic of the game.
Of the
So,
game.
Yeah, the game I picked up.
COD 4.
COD 4, Black Ops 4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
What's that?
it's a new Black Ops.
Obviously, but yeah.
So it only really has like 3 modes to it. It has multiplayer, it has battle royale called Blackout, and it has zombies. There's like a skimmed down like specialist mission mode for single player, but there's no single player campaign. They didn't like go out and spend like millions of dollars getting like Gary Oldman to like do a voice or like like hiring like
Oh, so, like, hacky?
No Jon Snow like in this one, no Kevin
No.
Spacey. So they didn't like spend it. So the multiplayer is like super polished because they didn't have to like waste money on single player. And like the battle royale is like what I thought. It's like the battle royale experience. And I haven't tried zombies yet. I'm
Nope.
gonna get around to it though.
An amazing game idea
Yeah.
that I think you kind of accidentally brought up there was once the Game of Thrones seasons, once the Game of Thrones completes, as it is coming to a close this season, I think that there will be a game made after it that you're in the world of Game of Thrones.
It's I think I've heard
The-
tell of this.
The battles are still happening,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all timeline synced, so you only have X amount of time to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you're just a regular person. You can like choose to side with people. You can do a medium
Yeah.
task. It's
So where the show leaves off, the game picks up.
No.
Well,
and-
no, it's
Kinda.
the game's gonna fill in like its own story in between all of the narrative of the show.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you get to like pick a person. You are
Boy.
a character, and
They're
you get to
trying-
determine if you're making weapons for them, if you're
Yeah.
trading with other characters, if you're
There's very
So
few.
it sounds like it's gonna be kind of like a Shadows of Mordor, or it sounds like it's gonna be like a Skyrim kind of meets like
Yeah.
like maybe like a Shadows of Mordor.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and you determine the outcome. So the battles change based
Yeah.
on you, and you determine the
Yeah,
final
same-
outcome of everything.
Yeah, same like in Shadows, you control the enemy captains and stuff, and
Yeah.
What was Skyrim? What was the online equivalent of or the version? Elder Scrolls
I
Online?
think it's
Yeah,
just
that
Elder
was
it.
Scrolls
Whatever.
Online, yeah.
That was too little too late with that.
And I heard it was kind of like the
Bad?
Yeah, like
Yeah, it was real
well,
bad.
doing like a hack and slash, like doing their combat style
Yeah.
in an MMO didn't really pan out from what I heard.
No, it did not.
Yeah,
It was very bad.
but back to Black Ops, I feel like I may be jumping the gun, but I feel like it's the definitive Black Ops experience.
Okay. Okay.
Minus the single player, because I did enjoy Black Ops as single player, but
Which
so-
the new one single player?
The
Or
old one,
the
single
original.
player.
well, 1, 2, 3 was okay, but like I really enjoyed 1 and 2 single player.
I don't think I own any of the games.
Uh,
No, it's only the Arma games. Any of that I bought those when we started playing.
Arma's single player. You don't. It's like
Well, no,
Yeah.
what were we playing online that uses the Arma thing? We were playing a mod.
were we playing? Were we playing like the Grand Theft Auto type one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Altus Life.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
But
was
that's,
fun,
That's
but
not a
it-
single player.
No.
no, that's all online. Everybody's role playing. Yeah.
Mm.
It's an Arma role playing server where like you just go around and play Grand Theft Auto basically.
A lot of that shit was fun, and I think we had talked about it before. It's fun to play, but when you see people like Frankie that make videos and great narratives and
Yeah,
stories,
that structure it really well around it. Yeah, that's awesome.
yeah, it makes the game look better than it is.
Mhm. Yeah, true. With Frankie did that. Frankie hasn't posted in like a year and a half though.
He's probably busy, man.
Well, yeah, he's a barrister or whatever, like whatever
Yeah.
like the UK equivalent of a lawyer is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So probably.
It's neat though. I
Yeah.
think that means it's time to throw it over to Nick now that we've talked about
Yeah,
that
Nick,
too.
it's on
Black
your
Ops?
topic. Or if
When did that release, anyways?
like what, like a week or two ago?
Roughly.
Yeah.
The 12th.
Okay.
The 12th, yeah. So
12th.
pretty. This is like its first weekend then. Pretty well.
Yeah.
No, second weekend. It came out on like
Yeah.
a Friday. Yeah, yeah.
Close enough.
So it's a double XP weekend this weekend. But yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying it, man. And the battle royale is good too, man.
All right, so 10%, huh?
Davis and I won our first duo battle royale last night.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, so we put it up in the chicken dinners.
What do they call it on that?
Victory.
That's
Yeah.
not fun. They
No.
didn't win
Number,
chicken
number
dinner.
one victory. So yeah, no. Well, you don't want to rip on too many other games as Steve's.
I
man.
know, but they could have done something clever like that too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's all. That's all I really got to say on Black Ops so far. I mean, I'll keep you posted if you want to know more. But I think we're over to you on the round table of topics, Nick.
Ooh,
10%.
10%. That's where I was heading.
10% luck.
So,
20%
does anybody?
skill.
I want to see if anybody has any. Yeah, 10%. If anybody has an opinion on, does anybody know of a time when a product came out and then somebody copied that product with their own and it was better? Anybody have anything in mind?
Nothing's coming to mind. But if you give me a second to think about it, like
Right,
probably a
right.
bunch will come to.
Well, there's a myth out there that, and I heard this as far back as, geez, I'm going to say third grade. How old are you when you're in third grade?
Young.
I think like 7 to 8, somewhere in there.
Okay, Riley's 5. She's in kindergarten. Gonna turn 6. Yeah, so like 8, 9.
8, 9, maybe. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so as far back as 88, 89, I've heard this. I remember hearing it in school,
Mhm.
and as far as I know, it is a myth. And what it is people say that if you're going to copy a product and you change 10 to 20% of that product, you're not going to get copyright infringement.
Mm.
And that's not really what they look at.
Mm.
If it would go to court, in front of a court case, they're looking at the quality of yours versus the original,
Mhm.
not quantity.
So if you build a better quality one, then it's
I guess,
cool.
yeah, I guess you're not going to get,
Suit. But if you just build like a cheap knockoff to like pump them out,
yeah, that's
maybe.
when,
That kind of like, I didn't realize that, but it kind of makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, improving upon something as opposed to just blatantly stealing it.
Yeah.
well, yeah, there's that, and then look at Android phones, and we'll go back. Does everybody remember the Galaxy S3?
Sure.
You remember it? No?
I
Okay.
don't think I was even born, probably.
No, Galaxy S3 was like 2012.
No, I never had phones until
Okay,
2 years
so
ago.
you had that, and then I remember specifically when the Galaxy S4 came out, like you could get a Chinese clone of it, but it was like 5-to-1. It wasn't a 1-to-1 clone.
Mm.
It was really bad. It was like almost the same hardware, and they were awful. These phones came out, and not that they're going to stop, China from making clones of stuff, but whenever this was happening, and you would get a phone, they would just like modify whatever version of Android was out at the time, stuff it on the phone, and if your phone ever messed up or you reset it and it messed up when resetting or factory resetting, good luck getting an OS back on it. And then they got to where they were 1-to-1 clones of those phones.
So they didn't have like an option or anything to just stock Android?
No,
No.
because of the way they were doing it.
Yeah.
Basically cloning a device. And then
Oh, they couldn't put stock Android for like reasons?
I don't know what reason,
Yeah.
but you just could not go and put stock Android. You would have to get, I think, ROMs.com, and if you try going there and looking, there is the biggest list of ROMs for Android phones I've ever seen. And then after that period, when the clones were getting from way, way worse than the original to good, almost you couldn't tell the difference, then that's when the Chinese smartphone game really upped their...
Well, that's when they started basically, what do they call it, like white labeling? Where like,
Yeah.
we're making this phone from like 9 to 5 for X company, but at 5 o'clock when we shut it off, we're not shutting the factory down. We're just not putting that label on anymore. We're
Right.
making it like as something else now.
But then these
Yeah.
companies started actually, instead of just pumping out cheap clones, they started making good phones.
Yeah,
like,
well, that's the thing.
Is that where the what are they called? Not Huawei's, but
CTs, Huawei, maybe. Like,
no, there was something else that they called them.
But no, that's the thing. Now with white labeling, they literally are the same. It's just a different.
Yeah, basically.
Like maybe like a different shell or something, or like one little different. But they're To back up your point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm gonna forget what that phone is
I
called.
don't know. I don't know why. Nick, I don't know. It felt like you were trying to argue with me while I was trying to agree with
No,
you.
no, no, no. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But no, I just remember the phones were horrible because actually, my friend Matt.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so he bought.
We played Rust and Ark. Well, we played Ark with him.
Yeah, he had bought it one time. It was a Galaxy S5 clone, and it was so bad. Like I found a ROM that was for an earlier production model of. I couldn't even find the operating system for that one. So I took and actually made a version of Android from different using like the little bin files and firmwares. And
Did it
got
really?
that phone to boot again, but you couldn't use it was so bad you couldn't set an alarm and have it go off. You couldn't use 4G calling.
So just like weird stuff. Like
Yeah, there was no support. There's no way to get an OS for the phone again because they just took and stuffed whatever image on at the factory, and that they never uploaded it for people to be able to recover their phones.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's the kind of support you can expect.
from those kinds.
Yeah, from buying bad clones. And one time that I can think of that comes to mind, and this is going back in history a little bit, when a product was better than the original, was when people were able to clone Macs back in like the 90s, 80s into the 90s, and they were selling them for cheaper. You basically had a counterfeit Mac, and they were actually better products. You know, you could service it yourself versus having to rely on.
Oh, yeah, we
Apple.
don't need to get into all this again. We've covered it many a time.
Yeah, they seized some batteries from our favorite guy up in New York as counterfeit batteries. He just ordered batteries. They're counterfeit. We're not getting into
We're
that.
not getting into it again. All right, let's just.
So, what products are we going to make that we can change 10% of so we don't get sued?
Well, didn't it, like Vanilla Ice got away with it, man?
Did he? What did he do?
Ice Ice Baby.
Oh, yeah,
was like
yeah.
One was like he was like
I got that little note at
that
the
one
end.
note that just makes it different from Under Pressure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, case in point.
I want to make a meme. It's like a sad person, or it's like happy person. It's like when you hear dun 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 da da, and then he's sad, like when you realize it's Vanilla Ice and not Under Pressure.
No, at the end, yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah,
Work it out then, man. We'll use it as a cover.
yeah, it's a meme there.
Yeah, I would say his product was worse, although cool in the 90s.
Vanilla Ice. Oh,
Yeah, although cool in the 90s, his product
he
was.
had like a little bit of a resurgence in like the mid 2000s.
What else did he try to do? He tried to do a lot.
Well,
he
he-
tried to make a comeback.
Yeah, he was like in a couple movies. He was in like a couple Adam Sandler movies and stuff, like as like a bit role. But
And one thing I can never remember is his fucking name. What is that guy's name?
oh no, it's
Rob-
like Rob Van Winkle.
Is it?
Yeah,
Rob Schneider.
no, for real. It's Rob Van Winkle. I Google this shit. Like,
All right, I'm gonna pull it up on my computer here.
this is not the first time I've had to do this.
Robert Matthew Van Winkle.
Van Winkle. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
How do you get Vanilla Ice from that? Okay, I get the Vanilla White.
yeah. He's cool.
Ice.
Yeah, cool. I guess.
He don't even have a C in his name to spell ice. He's got the I and the E. But no C, people. Yeah, his product was a little worse than Under Pressure.
Oh, Under Pressure's a great song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Compare the two.
Yeah.
So that was I don't know, that's just what I want to talk about, that 10% thing. And like I said, I heard that back in 3rd grade. And obviously there's some, Google wasn't around. We couldn't fact check people's bullshit. And I still remember the kid saying like, yeah, if you wanted to, you could make your own pair of Nikes and you take and you put another line under the swoosh and everything else is the same. You won't get sued. And I'm like,
Yep. No, that's the thing. That's
No,
what
no,
people
like,
do.
With Adidas, I've seen. I've seen
Yeah.
like
They
4 or
add an
5
extra.
stripe,
Yeah, they add an extra.
they add
stripes
another stripe or
because you're not using their logo, which means
Right.
it's not their shoe, and the logo is the only thing that actually matters on the shoe because shoes are all the same.
right.
So as long as you add, at
I've
least
seen
10%
that
more
happen.
ink.
But just he's like, to expand on what this kid told me way back then.
He's
was,
saying you can just alter the logo by 10%.
Yeah, and
which,
I'm
no,
like,
you can't. Yeah, that's
no,
not,
you're not doing that. And also, he's like, you could do it with anything, cars, houses. I'm like,
You can do it with cars.
Who the fuck copyrights a house?
that's. I mean, I wasn't thinking like that, but
Yeah.
thinking back on it, I'm like, dumbass.
Yeah.
So I know you're not watching, Joel. Yeah, you didn't know what the fuck you were talking about.
So, I guess we're back to Aaron on
Yeah.
the topics.
All right, topic number dos for me, quattro.
Quattro what?
Quattro for the group. 1, 2, 3.
No, quick topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this one.
Are we doing 2 and 2? All 2 today?
I
We'll
think.
see,
Yeah, well, I
man.
mean, it depends on time. If we
Yeah.
get close to that hour mark, we're gonna go.
Oh, okay.
All right, so we're gonna. My second topic was gonna be on Wizards of the Coast.
I'm
What?
familiar, yeah.
So they make. I think they make Magic the Gathering. Do they make Magic?
I can't remember. I think
They
so,
do
yeah.
D&D,
They
that's
do
my main
D&D.
point.
They do, I
Okay.
think they do Magic. They do like a bunch of other games too, like crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Like a bunch
so
of stuff. Yeah.
they're a pretty big manufacturer of like if there's a card game that exists, it either came from them, like they made it
Or
personally,
they had
or
a hand in it or something, yeah.
yeah, they've touched
Well,
everything.
there are other companies, in all fairness.
They've
They-
touched them though. They've been a part. They've spawned off of Wizards of the Coast. They were one of the.
Anyways,
main
what do you got to talk about Wizards?
Oh, so they had a press conference where they're releasing new stuff for D&D, for like new campaigns, new figurines, a bunch of new stuff, new races.
Is it like a new edition yet?
No, not
Okay,
fully.
well then this happens. There's going to be like refreshes and like bumps to it, the edition periodically to keep it a little more life in it. When did 5th edition come out?
2012.
Okay, and 4th edition was like early 2000s, right? I think
Yeah, like 2008.
2000.
So
Eh,
we're
we're
due.
getting close. So this
we're
might be
due
the
for
last. This might be the last bump before the next edition.
Yeah.
I skipped 4th. I'd never played 4th.
I didn't play. No one really likes fourth. Everyone either plays 3.5e or 5e.
Yeah. Well, yeah, 3.5 enhanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're talking about card games?
No,
No,
D&D.
Dungeons and Dragons. Nerdy, nerdy.
I
nerdy
started
stuff.
with. I think technically, I played a few games at 3, and then like 3.5, and then like 4th edition came out, so we found like 3.5 e-books like dirt cheap in like yard sales and stuff. So we were just like, well, we're just gonna play 3.5.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then with you now, I've tried 5th edition. And I like 5th edition.
Fifth edition is
It's very
fun.
streamlined. Well, I heard they tried to do that with 4th, but it wasn't really.
No.
It didn't pan
Well,
out.
here's what you're gonna like more about the update that they're doing. So they're bringing back other races and stuff from 3, and they're bringing back some play styles of 3 if you want to play the campaigns like that.
Okay,
So,
cool. I like it then. This is great for me because I didn't have anything to do with 4th.
for example, they're bringing back the animal class, so you can be like an enchanted animal, or I'm sorry,
A
an
shapeshifter?
awoken animal.
Okay, something
Not a
different.
shapeshifter.
Okay.
So like, let's say that you're a bear.
Mm-hmm.
You're just a bear walking in the woods, and one day a spellcaster
I'm
comes up.
sentient.
You
I'm a
they,
pl-
they
I'm a player.
cast
I'm-
something on you, and
yeah.
you awaken, and you become
You go from NPC to PC.
correct.
Yeah.
And then you basically go through your world living.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
actually no, I remember there was an animal like I remember there was a book for that in 3.5.
Yes.
I think I had it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you can do that now.
Yeah.
Once this fully releases, which is really cool
It was
because
cool because they had it for like dinosaurs and shit.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
But there's ways to do it now to where you can, just like in 3.5, there's people who like played huge jokes as their characters. For example, pardon me. For example, someone was a bear. That's why I brought up the bear specifically. And they took the rogue class, which allows you to put on disguises. You're very efficient at tricking people. So
And he had like a max like charisma or whatever the skill was for that.
yes, he had this perfect charisma. Like he
Yeah.
would level in charisma every time.
Yeah.
And he built himself up to where he could put on a disguise and keep
you-
it on for years at a time.
And use a disguise kit and boost your rolls further. And
Yep.
Yeah.
So he tricked everyone into believing that he was a human through most of the game, except for the main party. Everyone thought he was a human. He could talk. His bear sounds would sound
Oh,
like
nobody in
human
the party
sounds.
knew. They just
No,
thought
the
it
party knew.
Oh, the party.
Most
knew.
of the party knew, not
Okay,
all of it.
Okay.
So he was doing his thing. He was acting like a human. His bear sound sounded like human sounds. Picture bear with a mustache on. That's basically what he looked like, but everyone thought he was a human. And he gets a wife and kids, and he settles down. And
So he just looks like a bear dressed as a human.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So he gets his stuff. He settles down, and one day, they're nearing the end of the campaign, and his wife and kids are like trying to talk to him. He's trying to get them to escape, and he fails one of his rolls to stay in disguise, and because he has disadvantage because he's in stress.
Yeah.
And he turns into a bear, and they freak out. And rather than try to explain his way out of it by turning back into a human and being like, "Oh, I'm a shapeshifter," blah 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 blah, he just mauls them and kills them.
Wow.
He killed his family that he's been striving for potentially real life years to build, and he just mauled them rather than talking his way out of it.
Yeah.
He gave up halfway through and just mauled them.
That's sweet. Yeah, that'd be cool because I'll be interested to roll some like 3.5 stuff into my character.
Yeah. Speaking of which, you should talk about your character because no one
Oh.
here has really talked about
Yeah,
it.
so like we are playing I guess now it is official, like a work game for me as well too, of D&D. And I'm playing we're at we're still at level 3. We didn't level up.
Not yet.
Okay. Level 3 human monk. Just
And who are you basing it off of?
did you ever see the movie Kung Fu with David Carradine from Kill Bill?
Yeah,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
basically him with like
that guy.
lifting up like the
That's
cauldron
good shit.
town to town,
Good
righting
shit.
wrongs. Yeah, basically that guy. Well, you didn't like because and here's the thing too. I do feel a little bad because I was supposed to be a throwaway character. I was working with him
Yeah.
in secret with the party. I was supposed to just like show up once, and somebody in the group killed off another person in the party.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
now he's part of the party.
Yeah, so I was like, well, you needed me to beat the boss then, because to balance it out too. I
Yeah.
realized that, so I
It
was like, yeah,
It was not going to work out well for them. They were
yeah.
one character shy of being
Mauled
to
to death.
crisp.
So I had to jump in. So now I'm gonna play, but I feel bad because you were just like, I just make your stats whatever. So like, I'm not like, I'll show you them. Like I
They're pretty
did.
tanky.
Well, I did my strength, constitution, and like I did like the stuff I need. The other ones are average, but like, yeah, I'm pretty beastly. But
That's okay.
the rolls, as you saw, like I still could whiff.
You're gonna die soon, most likely,
Mm.
and you'll get to build like a real full blown, not just should have been a dead character.
Well, no, I might keep this guy going.
Okay, you
Yeah,
could,
yeah.
you could. But yeah, one of our another story of D&D.
Mhm.
One of our teammates was I guess not my teammate. I'm the drunk.
Well, I mean, you
dungeon
didn't
master.
you didn't tell the story though. What happened too at the
Oh,
D&D game?
oh,
of
so,
why so you're the DM, but
So basically,
Yeah.
the party, the group as a whole, is sitting inside of a castle right now.
Mhm.
They go down into the under part of the castle, which is where all the bad people are. They're like trading illegal goods and doing all this crazy stuff. The king's like all for it. He's like, yeah, do drugs, party, do whatever you want. He just wants to have a good time, and he's super sassy. I really like his character.
But anyway, there's a portal there.
Yeah, there's a portal that goes to a place called Limbo. Now, Limbo in the D&D sense is just pure chaos. It just
Yeah.
spawns things out of chaos
So it's a random thing. You throw something into the portal, you get something random back.
based on your rolls.
Yeah.
Right.
So you roll. Everyone was getting like okay stuff back, like better than what they put in most of the time. And then one of the guys who's blind in the game throws in his seeing eye dog, and he gets back an eye that lets him
Hey,
his eyes let him see again.
what about the dog though, man? What
Well,
the?
you gotta
It's
trade, man.
Been erased.
Yeah, you
It's
gotta-
now the eye,
Yeah.
which then makes
I
it
would have
better.
kept the dog.
It's like it's like Full Metal Alchemist, man. There's got to be an
Yeah, I
equivalent
get that,
exchange,
but
yeah.
I would have kept the dog. I had a friend, and
Mhm.
now I got a
He-
fuck it. I got an eye.
Well, so then he throws in something else, doesn't he?
Yes.
throws
So
in
he
that.
throws no. He throws that in.
I'm
I
calling
wanna-
Peter.
I want to take a pause on this real quick.
Just
Some of
letting you
the-
know.
We've got some D&D people that have picked up on that are watching with us, and they're
Yeah.
talking about rolling their characters. We'll get to you guys in a second. All the mics are cracking, but we'll fix that later.
They're cracking.
Yeah.
Is it an echo?
I think it's like you guys can comment down there. We'll get if once you hear this
Is it an
part of the-
echo or cracking?
Well, we'll find out. And we were anyway. So he pushes the dog and he gets the eye back. One of them is sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, keep going. I'm just checking.
One of them is sitting there, and she's standing right next to him, and she saw that he pushed the dog in, sees he gets the eye out, so she goes, I roll to push him in. And she pushes in her best friend after a fight of strength, and she wins masterfully with a perfect 20, pushes him in, he vanishes, and a vial of his blood, a colander of his blood comes back, and she gets very disappointed. She's like, that's lame. See what else they can get. So on her next turn, she throws that back in there and fails her roll miserably, and he's gone forever. I can't bring him back. He's been completely erased.
Lost.
There is ways I could have brought him back, but
It'll
wouldn't have
take a
made,
wish spell now, right?
significant. No, there's other ways I could have done it too. I was gonna have. He doesn't want to come back. That's really what it's about. But
Yeah.
I could have had the daggers been enchanted with something to where when one of the daggers inevitably breaks,
You
money
on?
comes out of it. And ooh,
Tech
sorry,
guy.
we're listening to everything. It says they're informing us that it got better, whatever you did.
Okay.
So,
I changed the levels a little.
yeah. So that's probably it. We're gonna.
Okay. Perfect.
It sounded like we were almost underwater, apparently, but now it doesn't. It sounds better. Sorry, we're giving Tim a second to listen to what you guys are hearing so he can tell us what to fix.
Mm-hmm. I can still hear it.
Really crackly, like we're underwater. We have a filter on it. Either way, not a big deal. Not a huge deal.
Are we understandable?
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds like it at least. We are hearable. So she pushes him in. They get nothing back out. The group is very dismayed. Everything goes south, basically. And the king is drinking blood from an eternal fountain of his father. It's a pretty interesting game, to say quite the least. They just killed one of the first main bosses, one of the big five. He was a divine ogre named... I can't remember his name. We either called him... What did we call him?
Alucard.
No,
Me.
not the king.
Time.
The Time.
Yeah.
So his name was originally supposed to be the Party Time because everyone was a pun on.
He was originally supposed to be one character, but you had to split him into two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad things happened.
Yeah.
Some things changed mid-game, but that's how a good DM does it, I think.
Yeah.
I think we go through and you see events happen and they change things in the world.
Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, like, the kind of crackle it, I'm guessing something. There's a wire somewhere. Like,
Okay,
yeah,
so it's not.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a wire somewhere that we don't. That in between our system and it going online. You know.
It probably is.
Yeah.
That's
There's some kind of interference.
that's usually what happens. Being that we do this in a live work environment, like
Yeah.
5 days a week, there's madness in here. Yeah, you're not close to any wires now,
No,
are
I'm
you?
not.
No, you're
You
completely routed away.
might be, but that's
Yeah.
It might be. I'm thinking like up there.
Are you
or-
froze, Tim?
no, Tim is not
No,
frozen.
it's not froze.
Okay. Oh no, it's just what I'm watching here on the live stream.
So we'll have to.
So D&D,
Yeah.
I haven't played that. The first time I played was in the 80s.
Mhm.
And then I played again in the mid 90s, late 90s.
Mhm.
Last time I played that was in the
The
90s.
90s. So it's been 20 years.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
So didn't they try to do a video game?
Yeah. There's been a bunch.
Oh, yeah.
Successful? Any of them?
Well,
Yes, moderately.
you got to figure
None
most.
I wouldn't say any of them have been like home run, grand slam, like mass
Right, and-
like mass appeal.
Have
but-
any been made by any of the AAA title makers?
Yeah. Well.
Skyrim is a D&D game.
Yeah, but it's not a Wizards of the Coast branded D&D game. That's what
No,
I'm
it's
talking about.
that's Bethesda.
Yeah.
Who made that?
There have been ones that have met like pretty moderate success, from what I remember.
That's why I brought Skyrim up. Actually, you remember the hype on that and when it came out, how great it was.
Yeah, I was
They screwed up by not making that multiplayer.
then. Yeah.
Yeah, if they would have, that would have been game of the year for like a couple years. I'm convinced. If they would have had.
Well, I mean, it was still kind of like multiplayer was still finding its feet then.
Right,
know?
and if they would have thrown it in,
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Just like DayZ, how did
Don't get me fucking started on DayZ.
that would have been the game to end all games
Yeah. Should have been.
if they fulfilled their promise.
I'm not going back to check.
Yeah, no, I don't even. It's not even installed anymore.
No, I haven't installed that game in forever.
Yeah, I just if I want DayZ, I watch entertaining videos on YouTube.
That's like I think that burned me on like a lot of early access games. I'm really iffy on them now.
The thing that got me on early access,
Asses, early ass.
Early access.
early access. That's what
You
gets me.
telling us something here,
Man,
man?
what's up?
I hate you both
Do
so
we need
much.
do we need to go see like a professional? Get
Whoa,
some
put your
help, man?
pants on.
Yeah,
Whoa, whoa. No. No Man's Sky really ruined it for me.
man.
Like I was
Well,
hyped up on that for months.
that wasn't like early access. That was just like you shouldn't have pre-ordered that. Like if you pre-ordered that I feel bad.
I'm very
I
disappointed.
heard you guys at work
Uh-huh.
at that point talking
dude,
about
me
it,
and- Me and Mo
talking
were
about
all
it,
about
hyping it, the internet
It was
hyping it,
supposed to be one of the greatest games ever made.
Yeah.
and it is probably one of the worst.
Well, I hear they've gotten like better. They actually have updated it, but
Lost it.
yeah,
it
they've
for me.
lost their chance. Yeah.
They had to give refunds at one point. It was
They did?
They
Yeah.
literally
They
had
That bad?
Yeah.
Steam forced them to.
Yeah, Steam was like, you got to give like an
Damn.
open window to let anybody who wants a refund to get a refund.
Yeah, I didn't know that, or I would have gotten one
Yeah, me too.
at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I even thought that before the game was released. Whenever I watched one of the developers, whoever playing it, and he had like it was in like a movie theater with an audience around behind him. And he's kind of like sitting in the middle, playing, and he keeps talking about collecting this, and you can get. And I'm like, well, what? And he was just baffling him with his bullshit or whatever. And I'm like, well, what is the point? And he never did say what the point was.
The end was supposed to be a surprise, and some people made it there and were successful. However, I I just distinctly remember you could find these things called like wormholes and black holes that would send you supposedly closer to.
You could, but
They never sent you in the right way.
so here's the thing. No, they do.
No, there was a glitch for the first month that it was out where they would send you backwards.
So for me, here's how they worked. They did like make a lot of progress really far in, but then once I got like to about the distance they would jump in the center, I think I was just jumping across the center. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like the last leg, you gotta like actually chug it. I think.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think your phone is still actually playing audio.
No, I thought.
No, that's me.
Oh, that's Nick.
Yeah, I closed their dog.
But we're getting. I'm being told to tell you guys about the Hydra story of one of my previous D&D games. If that's okay with you guys.
I don't care.
So, and I might not. It's been so long since I've played this. Back whenever I was still with Morgan, many moons ago. Yeah. Basically, we were chilling. The party's going to face a Hydra, and everyone's like freaking out. They don't know it's a Hydra yet. They cut off its head. It starts to sprout more, but all of its appendages grow back 2 times as much. So they keep trying to cut off its genitalia. It keeps growing more. So eventually they figure out that they can burn it shut. They can solder it, basically. So they cut them with a flame sword.
Cauterize it.
Cauterize. That's the exact word.
Yeah.
So they cauterize it. And
You're soldering a monster?
A monster's dick.
yeah. So rather than having the heads grow,
Fuck it.
the penises
2018,
grow back.
man.
Yeah, right.
Well, it was 2016.
Okay,
It's
2016.
2016. Whatever. Live a little. Live
So-
a little, man. Cut off a monster's dick. Have it grow back, man.
Well, they
Woke
kept
even,
growing back
woke
more.
even back then,
Yeah,
huh?
right.
I
So they
see.
were at like 7 or 10 or something of them.
It's a pretty big
And-
party, man.
No.
Oh,
7 or
dicks.
10
Oh,
of the,
dicks. Okay.
and they cauterize it.
Mhm.
And they're doing their thing. It's about dead. And the Hydra, someone failed a rule for falling in love or having it seduce.
Who was trying? Was the
One of the players failed to seduce the Hydra,
okay? He was trying to seduce the Hydra.
and it failed.
Okay.
And the Hydra was madly lustful for that player.
Oh.
The person that we saw at Taco Bell today, actually.
Okay. So
Um,
so he failed the role. So
and the Hydra, rather than being in love with him and doing what he says, became lustful and just wanted to.
was it like a crit fail?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He prisoned him. He wanted to
Okay.
prison him.
Okay.
So he gathered. They solder it, so he's pretty
No,
much
they
emasculated.
cauterized.
Cauterized it. Sorry, IT kicking in.
Mm-hmm.
They cauterized the area so he couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And one of the nearly killing blows was to punch him there, and he punched him so hard that it split and grew back like twice as much. And then everyone was so far away because he was supposed to be dead. He was supposed to get the final kill. Didn't kill him, sent him into a rage, and then he raped the shit out of him. It was
Lovely.
a very dark thing.
Awesome.
And then he was impregnated with the Hydra's babies. The Hydra was then killed, and they did a spell on him to kill all the babies, basically.
The morning after spell.
The Plan B spell.
Yeah.
But he had an immortalized tapestry, like a tattoo on his back of the incident that happened because they killed the babies, and the babies like rose up to the surface. It was neat to say the least.
Oh.
And it was a it was a very fun time for that person. Then they went and they finished out the quest, and at the very end there was like a statue carved out in the center of the town where the Hydra was violently inserting into one of the players. It was a very dark campaign now that I'm looking back on it. We also had this one-eyed monster called Tuk Tuk that would randomly show up and just be cool. He was in a suit and tie, one eye, pretty cool guy.
Sounds like a lot of like dicks going on in your D&D, man.
Yeah, that's where the disease Dickens came from. That game, because someone grew a thing on their forehead.
Yeah. I didn't. Not much that. There wasn't like much like sex and like dicks going on when I played D&D. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, there wasn't much of that.
No, it was
I don't
more,
think any.
it was more about. Well, I don't know. I also played like tabletop like miniatures games. So like I play D&D like it's like a tabletop video game. Like I'm trying to win, you know. I'm being tactical.
Speaking of the devil, he just started watching the stream while I was telling the story.
Who?
Taco Bell guy that had that all happen to him.
Oh, yeah.
Tacos were great, by the way. Thanks, man.
Uh-huh. Oh, cool. Sweet. I lost my
Yeah,
train of
I
thought.
play it whenever I'm actually not the dungeon master. I like to play it like that, but
Yeah.
I'll roll with whatever the party does. It doesn't
Okay.
matter what you do. I'll figure out how to
yeah.
incorporate it into the story if it makes sense.
Yeah. Have you ever played a tabletop miniatures game?
Yeah, once I played
What'd you play?
Warhammer, the old ones. That
Warhammer Fantasy, not Warhammer 40K.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I played. I've tried Warhammer Fantasy once, and I played like a couple games of 40K, like the regular one. My big one was War Machine and Hordes. So steampunk robots and like giant like feral animals controlled by wizards.
My
And they were more like skirmish. They're like
Not
you could-
mecha?
Not well, steampunk mecha.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
steam-
there is a difference.
Yeah. And then well that setting too has its own like D&D setting called Iron Kingdoms, which is fun. It's like steampunk, like magic.
See,
you know,
that'd be
kinda-
cool.
Yeah, it's
I played
and
a-
guns. It's like a lot of gunfighting too, because they have like like musket like era like guns and shit, like chain guns, Gatling guns too,
yeah,
like Civil War-ish era,
but steampunky Civil War.
but steampunky Civil War with magic and like all kinds of out there stuff. It's neat.
I played a campaign with Harry Potter once, like in that universe, and that was by far my favorite.
Yeah.
By far.
But I'm going to start playing another tabletop minis game though. If you're interested in playing, so
Potentially.
I'll get back with you to let you know. It's set in the 40K universe, but it's instead of like a grand army of 40K stuff, it's literally just a squad of guys, and they like level up and stuff. So it's more like it's a smaller scale. You only need like $60 to play, really, instead of like hundreds of dollars on a giant army.
I spend way too much on stuff in D&D.
Yeah, well, it's as much as a video game, so
Yeah.
Yeah, whoever come up with that idea, like for tabletop games and
Yeah.
miniatures and that, like
they're fun, but it takes a certain kind of person to be into them.
right, but
Yeah.
just not only having that, but taking and be like, oh, well, let's take and make this game collectible.
Oh, there's been
You know what I mean? Like
there's been
that person was smart.
there's been like Star Wars ones I remember that like they were like you get like little plastic ones.
Knights
Yeah.
of the Old Republic was that
Not
game
that.
before it was actually a video game. That's what I believe.
Yeah,
it's
but
called.
there's one that if Pope Jones were back, he could tell us because he has all of them. But it was a Star Wars one all across all of like Legends like continuity,
Right.
but the booster packs were random, so you'd have to like keep buying to get everybody or like go into like the eBay. Yeah.
Trying to think. Well, I was watching something. I forget what I was watching. I don't know if it was Pokemon cards or Magic cards.
Oh yeah, man.
Like, actually, I've never played any of the games, the card games. Never bought any of the cards, miniatures, none of that. But there's some people that do creative content on YouTube, like literally unwrapping cards.
Yeah.
And somebody figured out like a pattern to, I think it was the Pokemon cards, like what you would get in what pack at one point for.
They you know how they figured it out? They could figure it out if you're getting a foil, especially in like older cards, because the
Yeah.
weight would be off from the packs. So you
Yeah.
can weigh them and see which ones are probably better.
And then there was like every so many packs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could see like people would like crack the box, take out all the heavy packs, fill them back up with light packs, reseal them. So that,
yeah, so people weren't getting it. Yeah.
Because you're guaranteed so many in a box, but if you're doing that, you got to buy them new, and you got to buy them like
From
like,
a reputable source. Yeah.
They're coming in new from like the place, or you buy them straight from the place. You like
Right.
online, be like, just send them right from the factory.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was bringing up. People were talking about that, buying them on eBay, online sources, and they just got ripped.
You do know that's where like the Bitcoin exchange started, right?
What, with Magic the Gathering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Mount Gox.
Mount Gox, yeah, was a Magic the Gathering trading. Well, dude, I was talking with Pope Jones about this too. We've talked about this for years, but it makes sense, and because Magic the Gathering cards are like a great way to launder money.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because like one card's worth could be worth thousands of dollars. You get a stack of those. Like, what? They're just cards, dude.
Then think about all the shit that happened on the Silk Road.
Hmm.
Oh.
And then that leads into that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't talk about as much of this.
Why?
Why?
I don't
You
know.
talk
This is all
about
public. This
anything.
is just we're talking public information. I'm not saying that I had a hand in any of this. I'm just saying
Oh yeah, we
Yeah.
ordering drugs and
Yeah.
hits on people. And,
you can find news articles about
Yeah.
this. It's not like
It's true.
we're
It's
yeah
true.
yeah, it's not unknown knowledge.
yeah
They actually shut down most of what was going on with Silk Road, right?
yeah.
Now
they-
it's back up.
Well, I mean,
Silk Road 5.0 now.
it's a constant back and forth. I'd imagine.
Mm.
The real place. No, not going into that.
Okay, whatever.
What real place? We're in a real place.
There's other places to go now. There's
Yeah.
better places.
There always have been other alternatives.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, but there's better
that's
places.
public
now.
knowledge, man.
Yeah.
It's all out there. Yeah.
He's noited.
What a youngling I am.
If you've read it on a computer screen, unless it's something you've typed or created on your own screen,
Mm-hmm.
then chances are there's a fuck ton of other people that have read it also.
Yeah, so it's all right. Good. How long are we running?
Oh, we're time.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
time.
we're overtime,
Oh,
man.
we're OTI.
So
We're still good though, man.
yeah,
for a little bit.
a little bit. Do you have any games you
I
want
don't
to
have
kick it
any
to?
more.
Oh, we've tapped him out on games.
On games.
Do you have any games? Are you? 'Cause he's usually
There
the
was
game
something. There was
master.
something I was watching. What do you play? Which one do you play? The two big battle royale games now. What are they?
PUBG, Fortnite.
So I used to play PUBG. I did Fortnite with the building mechanics. It's not my cup of tea.
Right.
I'm not gonna bash you if you like it. That's cool. Go do your thing. Just not my thing. Burnout on PUBG though now.
Yeah.
Right now it's Black Ops. Like that's got like the best battle royale.
Yeah,
at
I
the
was
moment.
actually watching.
And when Battlefield comes out, Battlefield's gonna have its its own battle royale. So then I'll be taking the Pepsi Coke challenge between those.
Right.
I'll keep you posted though.
I was watching Fortnite online, like people playing,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's crazy.
and I was like, I pulled it up in Steam, and I was like, no.
You can't. I thought
Is
you
it there?
No, you have to get Epic's game launcher to play it.
Or no?
Yeah.
I was looking at it. I wanted. I was gonna. Is it that one? The one where you build? That's
Yeah.
Fortnite.
That's Fortnite.
Okay. Yeah, I was watching it on YouTube, and I was gonna buy it, but I didn't.
It's free.
Is it?
Yeah.
There was some game. What was I watching? What did we talk
You
about?
can buy Fortnite. Part of it is paid
Yeah,
for.
like the.
It's called
the
to Save the World.
yeah.
There's something that I was watching that I wanted to buy, and I'm like, no, I don't have time.
Raft.
Maybe that was
It
it.
was Raft.
Raft
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That gets old really quick.
Well, they're
though.
updating it. They need to add more stuff to it.
They didn't add new worlds too.
Well, from last time I checked, they were adding stuff at a good pace. So we'll see. But that's an early access game that I'm like, okay, the base of it, I can have like a few hours of fun.
Yeah.
It's like $15-20, and if they do support it, I'll get way more than my money's worth out of it. So it's more of I'll roll the dice more on that one.
Dude, that's bugging me. What was I watching? I wanted to buy something. There's something that costs money, and I'm like, nah, I don't have the money now.
I think Raft was the only thing we were talking about.
Yeah, but that's not much for a game.
Yeah,
Fallout
with-
76.
no, with
I don't know.
building?
It was down to the bottom of some rabbit hole. I started out with Fortnite and other stuff, and I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. I'm gonna buy it. And then I got to thinking, like, I've never really talked about this with anybody, so
Yeah.
it looks good, but probably not.
Yeah.
And then the money and no time. So
So, yeah.
Well, hey,
I do encourage people, though.
Well, I think next week, if you and I can link up early again, we should probably we might try and stream what we play next week.
potentially.
Yeah.
Next week is
Yeah.
the Halloween show.
So we'll play Overwatch. We'll play the Halloween
That's
match. again,
perfect.
yeah.
That's perfect.
All right. Groovy. So we'll
I'm
try
gonna
and do that to like pregame before the podcast, and then we'll
Yep.
take an intermission as we set up over here. Then.
So we'll be Overwatch pre-gaming, and then we'll take an hour break, and we'll be here by then. That'll
Yeah.
work.
Sweet.
I do encourage people, though, that have maybe not tried it or even thought about it. Play D&D. Play
Oh, it's
tabletop miniatures.
most people I notice like are kind of like apprehensive and don't really want to like most people I play with don't like really role play, but like,
Right.
some people get into it. It's fun.
Well, dude, it's a fun time.
Yeah.
And it's a social experience.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sitting around with people and way, way different than being online,
Mhm.
playing with people.
Yeah. We tried playing D&D online.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd asked about that. How did it go? And it
No,
didn't.
Doesn't go well.
Doesn't translate?
Normally. You can get people who are super into it, and then it works great.
But you need a dedicated group of like 4.
And people that aren't even going to look away for a minute.
Yeah, they need to understand how to play. You can't just...
you need 5 people. You need 1 DM and 4 like hardcore people who are going to play to do it online like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's
because I think any more than 4 and it'd be like too much to handle. Like
I think that's a good idea.
I don't know that why. I've played in a small group of people, 4 or 5 people.
That's like what I'm more comfortable with.
And it's great. And when I've played in with a lot of people, and
it's a mess.
Fucking chaos, man. No fun. Yeah.
It gets interesting though, to say the least.
It can't. Yeah. There's.
The fun level, when you get too many people, the fun level drops way down.
So when there's too many people, it's more of like, oh, it's fun when it's my turn, and then I gotta wait. Oh, it's fun when it's my turn, and I gotta wait longer. You gotta wait longer when there's more people.
It's kind of like playing.
The flow's different.
The way to translate it to a sport instead of a game is like try playing volleyball with like 4 or 5 on each side, and then try and do it like gym class style with like fucking 16 on each side. Sucks. Yep, no fun. All right, people, do something different this week.
Yeah, man.
Play a game.
It's getting chilly. Maybe play a video game, or go out and enjoy the fall weather. Get some cider and pumpkin pie.
Fuck yeah, cider.
Cider and pumpkin pie, man. It's time. It's fall season.
It is.
Yeah.
All right, next week, people, Halloween show. We don't know what we're doing yet, but it's gonna be fun. If you miss it,
spooky.
Hey, we'll get pizza and pumpkin pie.
All right.
I'm not gonna have any of the pie.
I'm down with it.
I'll have. You and I'll have pie.
We're gonna have a good show for y'all.
Yeah.
Make sure you do not miss it.
Yeah, because we actually do need to powwow next Saturday and kind of plan it.
No, I've been working on this for 2 weeks already.
Well, you need to clue us into what you're planning so we can bounce around.
All right, let's not keep them any longer.
One gun and a couple bullets.
Oh, it's gonna be a struggle.
Have a good week,
Only
people.
one of us walks away.
One skull. Yeah.